Indonesia, a vast and diverse country of 200 million people that covers an area greater than the whole of Europe. Of all its 17,000 islands, Sulawesi is the most magical. Isolated by deep ocean trenches, it is home to more unique species than any place on Earth. But Sulawesi is under threat.
When you're sitting in Europe in your armchair watching a natural history programme and thinking, I'd like to make a difference, there is a way you can make a real difference. You can come out and join a project like this one and actually help scientists, because without the volunteers this whole project wouldn't run.
Volunteers from around the world are working alongside leading scientists to help conserve the rainforests of Sulawesi, diving on the pristine coral reefs surrounding the paradise island of Hoga. And they live with the Bajau sea gypsies of Sampella village.
Just pinning down, that's all right.
In this programme, searching for the giant frogs of Sulawesi.
This is the biggest frog I've ever seen. It's absolutely amazing.
Here's a button.
And trying to find the bat caves of Magic Mountain.
Bat poo everywhere.
The scientists and volunteers of Operation Wallacea are exploring the mountainous and mysterious island of Kabiena. They're looking for sites and species which need protecting from modern pressures such as slash and burn farming. This morning we're off to Batu Sangir, or Magic Mountain, on a 2-day expedition looking for bat caves. Magic Mountain is nearly 1,500 metres high, and there's rumoured to be a huge bat cave hidden beneath its razor-sharp ledges and cliffs. Leading the expedition is the operations bat expert, Dr. Tigger Kingston.
We're heading off to Batu Sangir, which is a big rock over there somewhere. Our motivation is, I came here a couple of weeks ago, this is Tankano, and we went to some of the smaller caves around here, little caves, and had some quite nice bats there, found some colonies of things we don't get very often. And then one of the guides that worked with us there said, just on like the last day we were going, goes, oh, do you want to go to another cave full of bats? And I go, where? And he goes, oh, Batu Sangir. And I was going, what, that thing over there? And he goes, yes. Plan is to walk there this afternoon. We should get there within anywhere between 2.5 and 4 hours, and then check out the cave and take it from there and see what's in there.
An hour into the trek, Tigger and the team discover that tree felling has completely wiped out the trail.
Since Manny was last up this way, Manny's our guide, someone's come and chopped down a load of forest to, presumably they're leaving it to dry out and then they'll burn it for agriculture. But that has obscured our trail somewhat, so now Manny's gone off to try and chop us away in. Tilak bagus.
Which roughly translates as bad news. Fair comment on how poverty can force farmers to damage the environment here. Their guide cuts a way through, but they still have to climb Magic Mountain. After an endless uphill slog in punishing temperatures, Tigger's bat cave is now close by.
We're probably 200 metres or so from the first small cave. We won't get to the second cave today, but now we're going to head off over there and see what the cave looks like, what the exit's like. It may be really small, it may be really big. We may get time to go in and have a look as well. So right, we're close. That's where we are now. Cave. So what we're going to do is block off this exit, and then depending on how long that takes us, we'll either wait for the emergence or we'll go in and have a look around. Been sitting here for a while and it's dark enough that if there are bats here we'd be expecting to see them. So just in case we're missing something, we're going to have a quick look inside. That may flush some of them into the trap if they're here. Oh, there's a Betty. Hello, that's a fruit bat. He's not coming out. Can you? It's not very big, so it's potentially rosettas, they're typical cave bats. It's about to turn into a precipice, I think. So we'll go and see if there's any more a bit further in. We haven't seen much signs of bats in here, apart from our lone little fruit bat. But we've certainly got signs of cave swiftlets here. So you've got some feathers. So it's possible that there's, and if we look up, I think I can just about make out some little swiftlet. Oh, hold on, let's have a look. Swiftletty nest.
It's hard to believe, but the dried saliva from the nest of a cave swiftlet is the main ingredient of bird's nest soup, a Chinese delicacy which can sell for as much as £40 per bowl in a Hong Kong restaurant.
Generally you get some caves which have swiftlets and bats in, and it's possible that people have been taking the nests for sale because they use them in bird's nest soup. And I have a sneaking suspicion that that's how come our guide in this area knows about all these caves and knows where the bats are. So, I mean, there's nothing much we can do about that, but that's probably the source of his knowledge, and it could be that if they're coming in here to collect swiftlet nests, that they're disturbing some of the bat colonies. Or it could just be there are never bats in here, it might be a bit too chilly for them up here. That's a possibility. No, I don't think there's anything in here. Did I add a... Nothing.
All that effort for one solitary bat and a pile of bird droppings. But their research has to be thorough if they're to make a difference here. In the valley below, the reptile expert Dr. Graham Gillespie has taken a group of volunteers along the river at night. It's a long way from home for 20-year-old Anna Marin Ashford from London.
I've experienced so much, and England just seems so far away, and my life at home and university, it just seems such an alien concept.
It's actually quite common species around here. They also emit this incredibly pungent odour. It's quite disgusting. Who wants to have a go at catching this frog?
I think some of the scientists that we work with are absolutely inspirational. So knowledgeable and so open to just picking their brains and asking them questions.
Hit one on the head, one on the back, and just pinning down. That's the way.
Hey, come on, Usman! Back on, stick it on!
This is an adult, but they do get larger than this. They're very strong. They're totally adapted to the aquatic environment. They've got this really powerful webbing in their hind feet. Very short, muscly legs for really thrusting in the water and for big jumps. They're incredibly strong. They're quite difficult to actually hold on to.
Hold them really tight. This is the biggest frog I've ever seen. It's absolutely amazing. I can't believe I'm holding it.
Can I kiss him?
No, I wouldn't hold it.
The next morning, Tigger and the team continue their search for bat caves on Magic Mountain.
Oh, it's lovely.
But the latest news from their guide isn't good.
Manny's just gone off and had a look round the side. He's been gone about half an hour. And he's come back sort of slightly perturbed and distressed because he can't find the cave, and he thinks it's because of magic. Magically the cave has disappeared. If you can't find it, you can't find it. There's no point everyone walking over there and walking back again. I think what we're going to have to do is call it a day on this one, because we're sort of out of food and water as well. Magically disappeared caves are not a good risk at this point. So we're going to head back and hopefully we should get back down to Inano this evening because we've just about got enough time.
No bats, but the view is absolutely stunning. But magically or otherwise, Batwoman eventually finds her bat cave.
Look at you. Friendly? Yes, very friendly. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous. What a lovely animal. Oh, sorry. Flap, flap. Look at that. See the lovely pretty spots on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Let's sit to here. You are here. Oh, another girl bat. Another female. This is a Sulawesi endemic, pretty much. Oh, she's so cute. And there's meant to be one that's even bigger, and that's Hippocidrus inexpectatus, which is such a fantastic name. That's a nice little colony. The better to bite you with. Lovely. Isn't that the cutest thing? Oh, sorry, did I scare you all? You can see how they're crawling with parasites. That's because this is how they roost. So any parasite... oh, bye-bye. Parasites can spread very quickly from one to another and build up populations. Should we let you go? Ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Whee! Bat poo everywhere. So these guys really aren't very nibbly, so if anybody wants to grab a cluster, just don't pinch them, just scoop very gently, have them round your hands. Grab away.
Coming up, we plunge into the wacky world of electrofishing.
It's like Ghostbusters or something.
And the villagers put on a farewell show. That's after the break. The scientists and volunteers of Operation Wallacea are surveying the unexplored island of Kabiena, identifying areas of rainforest in need of protection, building up a picture of the island's wildlife. Dr. David Bird and his team are surveying the island's freshwater fish.
All right. Okay, we're here. Oh, this is a good river. Okay, let's get the gear out.
Dr. Bird's method of catching fish has raised a few eyebrows in Indonesia because it involves one of the volunteers becoming a walking electricity meter.
In here is a battery, 24 volts, about half hour's shocking. In here is all the business. I don't know how that works. And then what the machine does is converts 24 volts into up to 400 volts. It's got a mercury switch in here, so if it tilts or you fall over, it shuts off. And whenever it shuts off, it goes beep like that. So if I put it on the ground now and turn it on, it beeps at me. All right? So really, your chances of getting zapped are pretty low. This is one of the electrodes, and they plug in. They're all sort of colour coded, so you can just push them in. And the whole thing's waterproof, so if you fall over, it doesn't hurt it.
That's your armpits. Oh, the smell of it. Look at the washing.
We do wash them out now and again. Okay, let's go fishing.
David's technique involves temporarily stunning the fish swimming near this electrically charged hoop. This makes it easier to net them for his survey of these uncharted waters.
As far as I know, nobody's ever looked at the fish here on Kabiena. So we're trying to get to as many different types of freshwater, lakes, upland rivers, lowland rivers, estuaries, and we're just surveying the fish and trying to identify them. It's quite difficult. We've got about 80 odd species so far, which is a surprising number for such a small island. But the diversity is amazing, and some of the species we just haven't been able to identify. That's it, that's good, nice technique. Electrofishing is a very useful technique. It has the advantage that it doesn't kill the fish, so you can catch a lot of fish from a river and then you can let them all go when you're finished. There's one. Yeah, there's one. Coming down. Get him.
Yeah.
Another one coming down the right hand side. Hooray, got one.
What's that?
It's called a half-beak. The electro-fishing gear is portable, it's very easy to get to awkward places, and it doesn't weigh too much, so it's a very convenient way of fishing the rivers. What's really helpful is the volunteers are so enthusiastic, and I think to some extent they select themselves by getting here in the first place.
On net duty this morning is 20-year-old Noriana Kennedy from Ireland.
I only arrived about 2 hours ago, so I'm supposed to be knackered, but it hasn't hit me. And just got brought out here to go fishing. So it's pretty cool, I'm enjoying it, yeah.
Oh, hand in the water, did you get?
No, I didn't. Come back.
Oh, you're lucky. I've never been a fisherman ever. I got into it by accident really, and it just happened my first job was working on fish physiology, and I ended up working with fish. This is more like it. The bits of wood don't count. It's alright. No, this is different again. We'll go through these later and I'll show you what they all are. This is a lovely river, there's loads of fish in here. It's good fun, they enjoy it. Especially trying to catch big fish like the eels is always exciting. They always miss at least a couple of really big ones, and I think the number of big eels we've missed is just legendary. Eel, big one. Got him? Hey! That's a good one. Yeah, I told you. Monster. Good size.
It's like Ghostbusters or something. I don't know. I'd never really gone fishing before, so seeing those eels was pretty cool. I'd never seen eels so close or touched them or anything like that, and I thought I was pretty handy at it as well. So I know it was good crack, yeah.
He's going to wake up in a minute. I won't be able to hold him. So we can measure them, we'll stick some anaesthetic in the water. If we get any new species, we'll take them back with us for the museum. If they're ones we've seen before, we'll put them back in the bucket and then we can let them go. To measure the fish, we put them on the ruler, and you don't measure the total length. You see where their tail starts and their body stops. And you just put your thumb there, 82 millimetres. And it's also called a half beak because you see they've got an upper jaw, and you've got half a jaw. See? And what they do, they live on the surface and they feed off insects that drop in the water. You only get them where you get lots of overhanging vegetation. This is a nice river, so if you get rivers that they've cut all the trees down, you don't get these. This is my first experience with serious fish taxonomy, and I've learnt a lot, but it's not easy when the species are so poorly known. You have to look at, on fish that's only a few millimetres long, you have to look at its teeth, and it's tricky. And all the gobies have got these fused pectoral fins. These are the ones climbing up the bucket. It's cool, isn't it? Big boy. And pretty, aren't they?
And really nice. Very slippy.
Some of these eels are really old. Big ones like that, 10 or 12 years old.
448.
448. I can measure the temperature as well. 26.5 degrees centigrade, which is pretty hot. Some of the water gets up to 31 degrees. There's hardly any oxygen in the water at that temperature, so pretty remarkable fish.
Upriver, some of the volunteers are making the most of their last day on Cabiena.
Okay, ready? The whole 6 weeks has been such a positive experience, and I'm taking away so much that I'm just going to stay positive and try and make the most of my last day and my last night in Cabiena. Indonesian people are the most amazing, warm, friendly, open people I've ever come across, and I'm really going to miss them all. And I think that's going to be the most important thing I take home with me. The people that I've met and the relationships that I've formed.
The village of Anano has decided to throw a farewell concert for the expedition, and practically the entire district has turned out to watch. Noriana has been roped in to lend a Celtic flavour to the evening.
Oh my God.
Another perfect sunrise in paradise. And as the volunteers prepare to set off on their 5-day journey back to the UK, many are sad to be leaving behind this beautiful corner of Southeast Asia. One thing they won't be missing, however, is those dodgy gangplanks.
Angus, push your rucksack up, it's a nightmare otherwise. No, Angus, be careful.
It is sad leaving this place, sort of not knowing whether I'll ever come back here, and sort of not knowing maybe the state of the island if I do come back, because it's obviously the forest is disappearing quite fast.
All the data that has been gathered during the expedition will now be used to convince the Indonesian government to protect what little remains of Cabiena's rainforest.
One of the reasons why I did it is because every time I go away, I always go away with my friends, and there's always somebody there who I can depend on. And this time I said, right, I'm going to try myself out, get out that bubble of hanging around with my friends all the time. So I did it, and it worked out fine. It worked out really, really well. Definitely think about coming back next year to Cabiena for a long time.
It's just the best thing you'll ever do. It'll challenge you in ways you've perhaps never been challenged before. It just will be a brilliant challenge for anybody, and something that I think if you really want to do, you'll do, and you'll really enjoy. And I certainly wasn't the sort of person that you would imagine doing something like this, but I've really enjoyed it, and I've managed to do it okay.
The people who like this sort of thing are not the average run-of-the-mill tourist. They have to be people who really don't mind putting up with hardship in order to get to these places. When they get here, they'll have a tremendous time, the time of their life in many ways. But they're not going on a holiday where they can sit by a swimming pool and sip gin and tonics. They're doing something a lot more active than that, and we're always on the lookout for people to come and help us on that sort of project.
Operation Wallacea's season in Indonesia is drawing to a close, but the scientists and another army of volunteers will be back next year to continue their mission of saving paradise.